In this video, I'll be talking about the various tools that you can use when you are modeling. So the basic ones are, first off, the primitives, which are different shapes, such as the sphere, cube, cylinder. Now, the best tip I can give to you when box modeling is to break down a complex object, say like a chair or a table or whatever, into its most simplest of shapes, and then just go from there. So, say for example, a column. You know, the obvious starting point would be a cylinder. If you can break it down at its very simplest of forms, you could then start expanding on that, and hopefully adding more detail as you go on. So the obvious tools you have are your manipulators, such as your move, rotate, and of course your scale. Now their hotkeys are W for move, E for rotate, and R for scale. You'll be using these tools a lot when you're modeling because you want to probably manipulate various different areas, as you can manipulate the edges, the vertexes, and even the faces. You can also use soft select, which creates a fallout around other areas, which gives it a bit of a drop off. So if you see here, I got a vertex selected. If I move this, you see how it influences the other areas. Actually, I'll just increase the fallout there. You can see how it influences the other areas. Again, you can see that it deforms much more nicely compared to the normal version. It's good for organic stuff, so if you're doing like a terrain in Maya, this is definitely the best tool to use. Another set of tools that you can use are deformers, and they aren't found in the polygon tab, they're in the animation tab under create geometry, non-linear, and you have a few here which I've already got. The bend tool is probably the most useful that you want to use, as it will help in creating sort of 90-degree bends for, say, for example, pipes. So as you can see here, I've already added some edge loops. It's important to add in edge loops on the areas that you want to bend, because if there isn't anything there that it can influence, it will just create very weird shapes or very weird deformers. So you have to go to your attribute editor to bend, and you can see here, if I go on X-ray, that there's a bar there which shows the influence of the bend. So you can see, for example, right now how you start curving it, you see it curves. You can also say how big you want it, so I'm going to try to get it as low as possible. I believe you can also move it as well. Just turn that on. I just give it a little bit of a bend. Move. It's not really good. Yeah, this isn't the best example to use, but you can hopefully gather from this that you can start adding bends to your models. This isn't a very good example. I think if I move it up a little bit more, it would be... Now, if you want to keep... Sorry. If you want to keep your bends or your deforms, you have to delete by type history, which will get rid of the bend, so you can actually keep it as it is. If you don't, and you try to move it around, you'll see it will snap back to its original shape, or cause a bit more differences in it. You also have the twist, which, as you can tell, will give it a little bit of a twist. As you can see, this is very good for when you're doing trees. You know, if you want to get like a twist of like a tree trunk. You got waves, squash. Some of these you might not want to use, but probably the main ones you will use are the bend and the twist ones. Another type of deformer that you can use is the latence deformer. So as you can see here, you can add in as many subdivisions as you want. Got 6 there. Okay, so if I go on latence point, you can see if I start moving it, it starts influencing the, well, turn off soft select first. it starts influencing that particular area. It's a bit like the soft selection tool. So you can see I can start manipulating it, get a bit of that sort of fluffiness of a cushion going. I just start moving various parts of the tool. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's not too bad, but some other areas I could definitely manipulate. It's a bit hard to actually grab a hold of the latents tool sometimes. And again, if you want to keep your deform, make sure you select on the cube or whatever object it is, and delete by type history. If you move your cube, you'll see that it'll reset back to its original shape. You can see how it sort of deforms as it goes back into the latents. So if you want to keep that particular shape, make sure you delete by type history, and then you'll still have that sort of influence that the latents gave.